be looking at the UNISA Pre-Grade 1 Music Theory syllabus. Now today we will be focusing specifically on semitones and whole tones. So we are taking a zoom into question 1 out of a standard UNISA Theory of Music Pre-Grade 1 paper. Now, for many years, question 1.4 has been either please write a note that is a semitone lower or a semitone higher than the given note. Cool. And then October 2023 came around and they changed this up in question 1.4 to please write a whole tone higher. Okay. And so I'm thinking also in future papers, as well as whatever you are going to be doing now, whenever you may be watching this video, UNISA will be asking, please write either a semitone higher or lower, or write a whole tone higher or lower. So we really need to know the differences between these, and of course you should know this by going through your theory, but of course when we look at past papers we really do dive into the structure of a UNISA paper just to see exactly how they ask things, and usually they don't deviate. So for instance, if you were very set on, hey, question 1.4 is going to be dealing with semitones, either higher or lower, then you forget to read, and then when it actually says whole tone, you didn't obey the instructions just because you're in semitone mode, then you go and get the things wrong. And remember, in a pre-grade 1 paper, you have an hour in which to write. The questions are not that difficult, and because of this, they actually do allocate you 2 marks for a lot of 1-point things. So for instance, if you are going to write a single note in 3 different places, they're actually going to give you 2 marks each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for the whole of question 1.4, you would actually be getting 6 marks, which equals 6% in this paper. So we don't want to be throwing that away just because we don't read instructions carefully. So what I'm going to do now is take some examples in treble clef, bass clef, treble clef again. We're going to take the given note. We are going to practice writing a semitone up and a semitone down, after which I will erase this and then we will deep dive into whole tones. So remember, the semitone is the smallest musical step that you can make between notes in Western music. Of course, you do get quarter tones and stuff like that, which is usually either related to extended techniques on different instruments, not the piano, because the piano is split into 12 equal semitones, as we know, the chromatic scale, yay. But on other instruments, for instance string instruments, even on the voice, and especially regarding these in Eastern music or non-Western music, we definitely get smaller intervals or distances between notes than semitones. But in Western music, this is the smallest gap. Now, what helps is if you play piano, but if you don't, it's also good to be able to visualize the piano in your mind, because you will need this for all levels of theory. Because yes, for now, we are definitely reading separately in treble and bass clef in theory, whether or not you play a treble or bass clef instrument. But later on, we will be dealing with these 2 clefs together, writing chords, doing harmony, and harmonizing things. So we definitely need to be aware of this, the grand stuff, so to speak, and also we need to be familiar with the piano. So I have gone ahead and outlined for myself a lot of little blockies, a lot of little rectangles, which I'm just going to pretend are piano keys. So I can draw a piano, I can go from any note up. I'm just going to start on a C. So I will give myself C, and obviously going up in the musical alphabet. After C comes D, then E, F, G, A, B, C, and then, you know, I just have 10 blocks here. That's what I gave myself, but I could give any amount and I could do whatnot. Then I'm just going to add in my black keys. We filled in the white keys now. I'm going to get those black keys. So here we go. Okay, so there we have it. And we know that our black keys are in groups of 2s and 3s on the keyboard or the piano. So I have my semitones there. I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 equal semitones. So from this C to this B, and then I just happen to extend my piano just because. So it is helpful for you to either visualize a piano or draw a piano in pencil somewhere in your rough work so that you can really identify semitones and tones appropriately. So now, when we look at our first example, we have a D sharp in the treble clef. So if we just go one semitone up, this will be our semitone up, and then later we will try out our semitones down. So a semitone up from D sharp, if I look, I can think about this D sharp, I can think about that one, it's going to be the same thing. So one semitone up, this is my note, so if I go one up, oh, okay, that is definitely going to be an E. So fine enough, I'm just going to draw a fat semi-brief E. Then we have F in the bass clef. F, can choose my F, I have to go one semitone up. If this is my one note, I go one note up, it will be on that black key, so F sharp. So we're going to have our sharp, and we have our fat semi-brief F sharp. Then we have an A in the treble clef, so I'm going to be on A, one semitone up. Okay, so that is A sharp. Also can be known as B flat, but let's just keep it simple. We're going to do A sharp. There we go. But of course you will also get your marks if you write down a B flat, because that is the enharmonic equivalent, same thing. Then we are going to practice writing a semitone down from the given note. So of course here we find ourselves back at D sharp, so I'm over here, but now I have to go a semitone down, so it's just one key down from this black key to the white key, so that's D, normal D, D natural, and I have to indicate that it is a naturalized note with a natural sign, because I can't just leave that out, because then it's going to almost look as if, oh, this is in the same bar, so it has to be a D sharp. Nope, you have to indicate that it is a D natural. Then we move on to F, one semitone down is the key right next to it, and you see E and F are right next to each other, they are semitones apart. Same as with B and C, there are no black keys in between them. So if I just go from F down one semitone, it is actually a whole different note. It is an E. So those ones, UNISA, they have loved asking in the past between E's and F's and B's and C's, because those will not include sharpening or flattening. They will include a whole different note name, so to speak, because those notes, E and F and B and C, are right next to each other. They're already semitones. Okay. So yes, technically if you have an F flat, it is the enharmonic equivalent of E, but this is more appropriate. They are appropriate things. It's basically like this. It's more appropriate to write an A sharp here when you say I'm raising this note. Even though technically the enharmonic equivalent is B flat, it's more appropriate to write this A sharp in context. Last one, back to an A, but now we need to go a semitone down. So an A, we go one key down, and it happens to be this one. One key down means one key to the left. So we happen to be here, A flat. So we need to flatten our A. And we of course know the progression of how flats to naturals to sharps work. It just means that we have this type of order. Flats are lower than naturals, which are lower than sharps, and obviously the opposite is true. Sharps are higher than naturals, which are higher than flats. And excuse the glare on the board, we have lights and we have a phone camera. So if anything is unclear here, please do ask in the comment section, and I'll make sure that things that might not look clear on the board will be made clear for you in the comments. Now let's take a look at whole tones. So here we have it, some new exercises, also in treble bass and treble clef. So now we are going to write a note that is a whole tone higher, and then a note that is a whole tone lower than the given note. Okay, so a whole tone is essentially two semitones. So this is why it's good to have the piano in front of us, or visualize piano keys, because we'll be able to now, instead of going one key to the right if we're going up, or to the left if we're going down, we're now going to go two keys to the right or two keys to the left if we're going higher or lower respectively. So let's start with the C. We need to go up a whole tone. So if you're on a C, if you go up a whole tone, it means go up 2 keys. So I'm up one, I'm up another one, so that's just D. So I'm going to write in my D, that's that. Then we have a B, we're in the bass clef. So I'm just going to take this B, we need to go 2 keys up because we are a whole tone, which equals 2 semitones. So 1, 2, that is a C sharp. Important here, a C sharp. So C sharp, there we go. And I can't just thumb suck this, I can't just guess. So that is why it's very good to have this visual in front of you that you will create with your pencil on paper. So our last example here, we have E flat and we need to go up a whole tone. So here's our E flat, we go up 1 key and another key. So we have 2 keys up, and so an E flat up a whole tone is actually an F. So we have F natural there. This is very important. You really do need to have your visuals, otherwise it is not going to go well. So because we had our visuals, because we know what a whole tone is, 2 semitones, which means 2 keys up, we have identified our correct notes, and we will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 marks for 3 written down notes. Now we're going to try with the same given notes to go down a whole tone. So if we look at C, I'm going to go here because I don't have any keys over here. So we go down 2 semitones, or 1 whole tone, which means 2 keys. I jump to the left one, I jump to the left another one. That is a B flat. Then I'm going to write that down, and without this I wouldn't know. So it's good for me to have this. Let me just say that again. Then we have a B in the bass clef, and we need to jump down 2 keys. So jumping one, and then jumping another one. So we jump to a black key, and then we jump to a white key. And this is an A. So from B to A, it is a whole tone down. Then we are on E flat once more. So I can, look at it from here, or I can look at it from there. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to look at it from here. So E flat, this is on the black key. We need to jump 1 down to a white key, and another 1 down to a black key. And that is a D flat. So I'm going to write a D flat here, and that will be my whole tone down. So I hope that this video has helped you just understand how to easily, visually identify your semitones as well as your whole tones. And I hope that this does help you in your preparation for your pre-grade 1 UNISA Theory of Music paper.